top of the morning bay with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's
Good Morning Bay.
Good morning, Bay. आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
Namaskar.
वनकम,
Namaskara.
खुशामदीद,
Assalamu alaikum.
सत श्री अकाल,
మీకు అందరికీ వందనము.
जय स्वामी नारायण,
जय श्री कृष्ण.
जय जनेन्द्र।
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोल दे याली मदद.
मोलाली मदद बोलते हुए सारे फीजी मंदिरों बोलेंगे नीसा बोला बंधुजन। हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे। मैं सिर्फ आलतू बाबा।
And of course, myself, Faltu Rani, लेकर आपके लिए एक और drive time that's going to make it totally exciting and totally मस्तानी बंधु जाने.
True that, Banjan. Of course, अभी के लिए आपको बोल दे कि रास्ते का हाल क्या चल रहा है यहाँ पे. We actually are in the Bay Area, Bandujan, right now. So, रास्ते का हाल, the Bay Area is brought to you right now, Bandujan. Of course, the weather looks kind of cloudy outside, but let's see what's going to happen there. But first of all, a look on traffic.
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Bandujan, again, if you have any traffic update which you want to get the update right now for you guys, and you are stuck in traffic, you don't know what's happening out there, just give us a call here. We're happy to share that with you, Bandujan. But Filhal, bolne ki actually there's not much of traffic right now on the roads, primarily because there also is a scare of Delta virus, Bandujan. Not only about traffic, but also the commutes are actually also affected right now. They're not come back to where it was pre-COVID situations. So that's something which people are worried about, the Delta variant. And let's talk about some of the CHP reporting of traffics in different areas. Right now, 3rd Street, Rastan, Rafael area, there actually is obstruction over there, Bandujan, and CHP issued a traffic hazard over there. It's kind of sluggish traffic on the AT bridge near Oakland, and watch out for that. And also some residual delays happening on 101 southbound, exiting at Mansell Street in San Francisco. And down south Banjan, there's not much to report except for Campbell. There actually is a report of a hazard on 85 southbound, south of the Bascom Avenue, which is slow down traffic over there, Banjan. And that's it for the Bay Area part of it. Fremont, the 880, kind of looking slow right now. It is there's no incident report on the region, but of course, as you know, 880 generally has a huge influx of traffic southbound, especially in the mornings, and that's something which is very evident right now, Banjan. And that was a traffic update. Weather-wise, if you look at it, we're going to have, we are somewhere in the mid-80s, in the upper mid-80s, so it's kind of going to be cloudy all day today. Is that cloud? Is that smoke? I don't know, because West Coast actually has been affected by fire, Banjan. We'll talk about all those things coming up right now. Now we go to quickly jump towards the news updates for you guys. Faltrani, do you have the news updates for us?
Yes, Altu Baba.
All right.
And like Altu said, Banjan, traffic is returning to pre-pandemic levels right now in most Bay Area counties. Data Caltrans shared with NBC Bay Area showed that generally Bay Area traffic is returning to pre-pandemic levels, but the trends you experience may vary significantly depending on what part of the Bay Area you drive through. Bartney with Caltrans Bay Area explained that Bay Area traffic dipped at the start of the pandemic in May of 2020. The average weekday vehicle miles traveled in the Bay Area was down 24% from May of 2019. That number has rebounded over the past year since May of 2020, and the Bay Area vehicle miles traveled has increased 29%, which Ney says leaves the region's miles just 1% less than the pre-pandemic levels. However, the numbers vary significantly between the counties. 6 of the 9 Bay Area counties have seen miles traveled to return to or exceed pre-COVID-19 levels. However, San Francisco, San Mateo, and Santa Clara counties, Caltrans said that the vehicle miles traveled are still less than what they were prior to the pandemic. The National Weather Service is forecasting thunderstorms potentially today through Wednesday, Bandujan. Strong winds from the South Bay may blow in some thunderstorms from some thunderstorms sparking a higher risk of wildfires in the Greater Bay Area, according to the National Weather Service, on Monday and Tuesday. Even though the chance of thunderstorms is considered slight, it is enough for the service to issue an alert due to the dry conditions. And the forecast calls for monsoon moisture with gusty, erratic winds beginning Monday morning in Southern California before moving up the state into the Bay Area by Monday night. Also, there is a report that has come out with regard to why California cannot build affordable housing. And it's actually an investigative report that was done by NBC Bay Area. For nearly a decade, California has been in the grips of a housing crisis. However, despite the urgent need for affordable housing, it's been found that hundreds of vacant lots and empty sites meant to provide affordable housing to thousands of Bay Area residents currently are being used for nothing. Research conducted by the non-profit Enterprise Community Partners found that 214 affordable housing projects in the Bay Area that are shovel-ready but still stuck in the pre-development stage due to a lack of funding. If built, these sites could add 18,920 units, housing 289,938 low-income residents over the lifetime of the project. But many of these developments are likely years away from even starting construction, let alone providing a permanent home. So, which are the ones in Santa Clara County? 4,021 units are stuck because without funding, manager. In San Mateo, 1,970. In Alameda County, 3,739 units are stuck. Why is there a holdup? Well, delays like this, they don't just cost that project money. It also denies the ability to create more housing. It denies families from getting into housing. First Community Housing CEO Jeff Morgan told news reporters during a tour of the site where he plans to build 365 affordable housing units. He blames the delay on California's complex system for funding affordable housing. When traditional developers build, they can get financing from a bank and a cost of construction is passed on to the renters. But you can't charge high rent when building affordable housing. So those developers have to apply for funding from various local, state and federal programs before they can start construction. Non-profit organizations tell the investigative units who did the story that it can take up to a decade to navigate through all the red tape and cobble together enough funding to finish the job. So that's kind of driving up the housing crisis here and the homelessness crisis here in the San Francisco Bay Area. A little wonder that it is not being prioritized, considering that there's so much for-profit housing that is being that's coming up all over the Bay. Now, in news from San Francisco, COVID-19 numbers in the Bay Area have been trending up and bars in San Francisco are reacting accordingly. If you're planning to visit the city this weekend, you might want to carry your vaccination card, as many bars are now requiring to see proof of vaccination. Aside from your ID card, several bars are also asking for proof of vaccination only if dining inside there. Excuse me, establishment. I apologize. And speaking of that, Bandhujan, the Delta variant is upending assumptions about the coronavirus. The Delta variant is the fastest, fittest, and the most formidable version of the coronavirus that causes COVID-19 the world has encountered so far, and it is upending assumptions about the disease even as nations loosen restrictions and open their economies, according to virologists and epidemiologists. Vaccine protection remains very strong against a severe disease and hospitalizations caused by any version of this virus, and those most at risk are still the unvaccinated, according to the interviews with 10 leading COVID-19 experts. But evidence is mounting that the Delta variant, first identified in India, is capable of infecting fully vaccinated people at a greater rate than previous versions, and concerns have been raised that they may even spread the virus, these experts have said. In news from across the country, Punjab, in the nation's capital, U.S. President Joe Biden on Monday nominated a slate of 8 people to serve as U.S. attorneys, including the top federal prosecutor who will oversee the Jan 6 Capitol riot cases if he is confirmed, and a progressive prosecutor in Massachusetts. Matthew Graves, a former federal prosecutor, now with the corporate law firm DLA Piper, is Biden's choice to run the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, which has been overwhelmed with a flood of cases stemming from the riots. Federal prosecutors have arrested more than 535 people on charges of taking part in the violence, in which followers of then President Donald Trump fought the police, smashed windows, and sent members of Congress and the then Vice President Mike Pence running for safety. The United States is not going to be lifting travel restrictions given the Delta virus spike in cases. There will not be any lifting of travel restrictions due to concerns over the highly transmissible COVID-19 Delta variant and the rising number of U.S. coronavirus cases, a White House official told Reuters. The decision, which comes after a senior level White House meeting late Friday, means the long-running travel restrictions that have barred much of the world's population from the United States since 2020 will not be lifted in the short term. Given where we are today with the Delta variant, the United States will maintain existing travel restrictions at this point, the official told Reuters, citing the spread of the Delta variant in the United States and abroad. Donald Trump's ally, who was arrested in the UAE lobbying case, Barak, is pleading not guilty. Thomas Barak has pled not guilty to charges of illegal lobbying, putting the case on course for a long drawn-out trial. The plea was entered in the federal court in New York City borough of Brooklyn. President Joe Biden is, when asked about the DACA and the immigration bill, he has said that he remained adamant about the need to create a pathway for U.S. citizenship for so-called dreamer immigrants, but it remains to be seen if that will be part of the $3.5 trillion budget measure. There must be a pathway to citizenship, Biden told reporters as he returned to the White House after spending the weekend at his home in Wilmington, Delaware. Dreamers are immigrants brought to the United States as children who are protected from deportation under the DACA, that is the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. Democrats hope to provide legal status to some immigrants in the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation measure that they plan to pass with a simple majority, but details have not yet been released. These are pretty much the news from across the country and also the local Bay Area. Banjan, we'll bring you world news shortly, but before that is the Gane Ka Kira.
Alright, Banjan, this is the Gane Kira which lined up for you guys. This is a beautiful song from the movie New York. Aap enjoy kijiyega. We'll be back right after this.
लगता है आजकल दौर अपना आएगा यारो जो खुद पे हो यकीन तो जिंदगी हंसी तुझे कल बुलाएगा यारो जी भर के जी ले पल लगता है आजकल दौर अपना आएगा यारो जो खुद पे हो यकीन तो जिंदगी हंसी तुझे कल बुलाएगा है जुनू सा सीने में है जुनू सा सीने में है जुनू सा सीने में
Alright, Banjan, that was the Gane Kira for you guys today. Good morning to everybody on Facebook who's joining us. Good morning, Deepak ji. Welcome to the show. And of course, Banjan, the Gana aur tha aapke liye bajega for sure. Lekin abhi ke liye, Banjan, it's time for us to go and check out what's happening with the remaining part of the news of the world, Faltani. What do you have for us?
Well, Altababa, news from Pakistan is that Pakistan is reopening Afghanistan border crossing, which is being held by Taliban. On Monday, they reopened a major southwestern border crossing with Afghanistan that is currently under Taliban control on the Afghan side. Pakistani customs officials said allowing over 100 trucks carrying goods to cross into Afghanistan. And also, in news from Russia about Alexei Navalny, the Kremlin critic, his website has been blocked by regulators before the election. 49 opposition-related websites have been blocked in Russia. The move comes before parliamentary election in September. Regulators say it acted at Prosecutor General's request, says sites pushing extremist and outlawed propaganda. And of course, Panajan, there is a lot of unrest in Africa and that part of the world, and also in Tunisia. Tunisia's young democracy faced its worst crisis in a decade on Monday after President Kais Saied ousted the government and suspended parliament with the help of the army, a move denounced as a coup by the main parties, including Islamists. They're saying right now that Turkey is condemning Said's actions and the move risks destabilizing Arab world's sole democracy, which is Tunisia. And in news, I will bring up news from India shortly, Vanajan, but I just wanted to let each and every one of you know that you can actually catch the Radio Di Hotties programming every single day live right here on where you're watching us on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Di Hotties, and also on the Radio Di Hotties apps on iOS and Android. And coming back to the news with regard to news from India, Banajan, US and China are needling each other on rights abuse, wrongdoings as heated talks end in a stalemate, and a whole lot of blame is being pushed towards India for the Delta variant right now, and that's what China is saying, that the focus is not on what is happening in India as opposed to the coronavirus itself. The United States and China held high-level face-to-face talks on Monday, which highlighted sharp differences between the two countries. Although the tone of the meeting appeared to be somewhat less contentious, comparatively, things soon got heated while China issued a long list of demands and complaints which accused the US of suppressing the country's development. The latter red flagged human rights issues in Hong Kong, Xinjiang, and also in Tibet. And in news with regard to Maharashtra and the COVID-19 cases there, Maharashtra is reporting 4,877 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours in India. So it is on the downturn. And of course, Anthony Blinken, the United States Secretary of State, has arrived in India on Tuesday, and arrives actually in India on Tuesday, today being Monday. Completely losing track of time. There is an extensive agenda for talks featuring the rapidly evolving security situation in Afghanistan, boosting Indo-Pacific engagement, and ways to enhance COVID-19 response efforts, among others. It will be Blinken's first visit to India after assuming charge as the U.S. Secretary of State, and the third by a high-ranking Biden administration official after it came to power in January. That's pretty much what we have from India as well. And those are the news from all over the country and also across the world, Vanajan. And if you'd like to catch up on more, go follow us on our video channel on YouTube, which is Radio Di Hotties. And also you can subscribe to facebook.com/Radio Di Hotties and follow us here as well. Download the Radio Di Hotties app on iOS and Android. And have yourselves a fantastic, wonderful, magnificent Monday. We'll see you tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show.
सजाने की हमको मिली वजह ये अगर जो सच नहीं तो सच भला है क्या अपने हिसाब से दिल की किताब पे कुछ तो नया लिखो
Maza aa raha hai na? Great music, Vanajan, for the best in entertainment and the best in music and the hottest tracks ever. You can get it on Radio Di Hotties. For more information,